Most predators stalk or ambush their prey, but the mantis shrimp doesn't play by the rules. Its punch detonates underwater at 31 meters per second, accelerating like a bullet and shattering aquarium glass. But here's the paradox. This ancient killer evolved weapons more powerful than any muscle on Earth to crush the slowest prey imaginable. What could possibly drive such bizarre extremes? And how did a tiny crustacean become nature's greatest speed demon? The answer begins hundreds of millions of years ago. 31 meters per second. That's the speed of a mantis shrimp's punch. A strike so fast it makes the water boil. So powerful it can split mollusk shells, and on a bad day, turn a home aquarium into a pile of expensive glass shards. In the time it takes to blink, a mantis shrimp has already landed its blow, accelerated faster than a 0.22 caliber bullet, and delivered 1,500 newtons of force, over 2,000 times its own body weight. That's like a house cat hurling a punch strong enough to shatter concrete. Dr. Sheila Patek, a leading expert on animal biomechanics, once called mantis shrimp the only animal that can break your experimental equipment faster than you can build it. Biologists and aquarists alike have learned to keep their hands and fingers far from the business end of these crustaceans. Even thick gloves and tongs are sometimes no match for a determined smasher. Field reports from the Indo-Pacific tell of fishers nursing puncture wounds on their feet after a mantis shrimp slipped into the catch basket. In the lab, the shrimp's reputation is just as fierce. Patek's team has lost more than one force sensor to a poorly aimed strike. But this isn't just brute violence for its own sake. Mantis shrimp belong to a select club of ultra-fast movers in the natural world, alongside trapjaw ants, jellyfish harpoons, and fungal spores. All use a similar trick. Mussels load up an internal spring, which is held in place by a latch. When the latch releases, the stored energy explodes outward in a motion too quick for muscle alone. The result is a punch that doesn't just break shells. It challenges the limits of physics and biology alike. The paradox, though, is hard to ignore. Here is the fastest strike in the animal kingdom. Yet it's aimed not at darting fish, but at the slowest, least mobile prey: snails, oysters, clams. The mantis shrimp's evolutionary arms race has produced a weapon so extreme, it seems almost out of place for the job. And if that weren't enough, the same animal that can punch through glass is also hiding one of the most complex visual systems on the planet: 12 to 16 different types of photoreceptors, compared to our 3. Every trait, every number, seems to defy what we expect from a crustacean barely the length of a finger. To understand how this living battering ram came to be, we have to look back, far back, into a lineage that split from other crustaceans hundreds of millions of years ago. The story of the mantis shrimp isn't just about speed or power. It's about evolution, pushing biology to its absolute limit, and the strange, beautiful consequences that follow. Over 400 million years ago, the ancestors of mantis shrimp set off on an evolutionary path that would leave them radically different from any other crustacean. This ancient split, deep in the Paleozoic seas, set the stage for a group of predators that would eventually weaponize their own limbs in ways the ocean had never seen. Over the next 200 million years, the ordinary mouthparts of these early stomatopods began to change. Gradually, joint by joint, they elongated and rotated forward, transforming into a pair of raptorial appendages, arms built for ambush and attack. The result is a lineage whose signature weapons now define two main forms: the spear and the club. Today, mantis shrimp are a study in extremes. Most species measure around 10 centimeters, about the length of a finger, though giants like Lysiosquilina maculata, the zebra mantis shrimp, can stretch to nearly 40 centimeters. Their bodies are a riot of color and armor, with stalked eyes that pivot independently and segmented tails equipped for both offense and defense. But it's the raptorial limbs that truly set them apart. In some, evolution has favored a long, barbed spear, perfect for impaling soft-bodied prey with surgical precision. In others, the arm ends in a compact, mineralized club, engineered to deliver bludgeoning blows strong enough to fracture shells and stone alike. These weapons didn't arise in a vacuum. Mantis shrimp occupy tropical and subtropical waters across the globe, from Indo-Pacific reefs to seagrass beds and sandy flats. Some dig deep, vertical burrows in soft sediment, waiting motionless for hours with only their eyes exposed. Others carve out cavities in coral or rock, fortifying their homes against intruders and the pounding surf. This division of labor, spearers in shifting sands, smashers in hard substrates, has shaped nearly every aspect of mantis shrimp biology. The spearers rely on stealth and reach, striking at passing fish or shrimp before retreating into the safety of their tunnels. Smashers, meanwhile, patrol their rocky fortresses, using their clubs to crack open armored prey and to spar with rivals over prime real estate. The split between spearers and smashers is not just a matter of weapon design, it's a blueprint for two entire ways of life. Each lineage has fine-tuned its anatomy, hunting strategy, and even its social behavior to match the demands of its chosen weapon. From the tip of the raptorial limb to the shape of the burrow, the legacy of that ancient evolutionary experiment is written into every detail. The mantis shrimp's bizarre biology is not an accident or a one-off oddness. It's the product of relentless adaptation, stretching back hundreds of millions of years and still unfolding across the world's reefs and sands. A pair of stalked eyes breaks the surface of a sand flat, motionless but alert. This is the zebra mantis shrimp, Lysiosquilina maculata, the largest spearer on Earth, reaching 40 centimeters from tail to antenna. Unlike the club-armed smashers, spearers are built for patience and precision. Their weapon is a raptorial appendage, elongated and lined with curved, barbed spines, each designed to impale and hold struggling prey. The spear is a feat of natural engineering. Its hard, mineralized shell bristles with serrations and grooves, gripping slippery fish and slicing through scales. Beneath this armor, fibrous layers of chitin and protein add flexibility, absorbing the shock of a thrashing catch. The entire spear is hollow, reducing weight and allowing for a lightning-fast strike, up to 2.3 meters per second. Its hooked shape locks prey in place, turning a single thrust into a fatal trap. This is not just a stinger, but a composite harpoon evolved to survive the chaos of the hunt. Zebra spearers dig deep, vertical burrows in soft sand, sometimes over a meter down. They wait, nearly invisible, with only their eyes and antennae exposed, tracking the faintest ripple above. When a fish drifts close, the spearer launches its weapon in a blink. The strike is slower than a smasher's blow, but still over in a fraction of a second. Prey is impaled and dragged below in a cloud of sand, demonstrating remarkable speed. Dr. Maya DeVries, a field biologist, has devised a clever capture method. She lures the shrimp to the burrow's mouth with bait, then slips a noose around the carapace as it lunges. Sometimes the shrimp snatches the bait and vanishes, forcing a quick chase. Each successful capture reveals the spear's complexity, a hollow, layered weapon shaped by an evolutionary arms race, where precision and durability matter as much as speed. Spearers rarely defend a single home. Their sandy tunnels are easy to rebuild, so they focus on ambush, blending invisibility with deadly reach. For them, the spear is survival, refined by millions of years of silent predation. Inside Dr. Sheila Patek's biomechanics lab, the numbers behind the mantis shrimp's punch become impossible to ignore. The club, barely the size of a thimble, accelerates underwater at over 100,000 meters per second squared. That is more than 10,000 times the force of gravity, and well beyond what most engineered materials can survive. In practical terms, the club reaches speeds above 20 meters per second before impact, sometimes peaking near 31 meters per second. When the strike lands, force sensors routinely register impacts of 1,500 newtons, enough to shatter a mollusk shell, or, as Patek's team discovered, obliterate their own lab equipment. Force graphs from these experiments are a study in violence. A single razor-sharp spike marks the moment of contact, followed by a rapid drop as the club rebounds. But if you look closer, a second, smaller spike often appears just fractions of a millisecond later, a clue that something even stranger is happening. Researchers initially blamed broken sensors or data glitches until high-speed cameras captured the truth. The club's impact is so sudden that it drops the water pressure behind it, causing the liquid to vaporize and form a bubble. When this bubble collapses, it unleashes a second shock, amplifying the damage. The club itself is a marvel of microarchitecture. Its surface is wrapped in a crack-resistant coating, while internal fibers are aligned in multiple directions to absorb and dissipate the force of each blow. This design allows the mantis shrimp to strike again and again without shattering its own weapon, a feat that has materials scientists taking notes. Patek often jokes that mantis shrimp are the only animals that force her to budget for new sensors every grant cycle. But beneath the humor is respect. No other animal delivers so much force, so fast, with such a small tool. The physics of the strike demand a second look, not just at the impact, but at the mysterious aftermath that follows. When Dr. Sheila Patek first aimed a high-speed camera at a mantis shrimp strike, she expected to capture a single, devastating impact. What she found instead was a hidden world of violence unfolding in less than a millisecond. The club lands with up to 1,500 newtons of force, more than enough to shatter a snail's shell. But then, just a few hundred microseconds later, a second force spike slams into the prey. This isn't a malfunction or a trick of the sensors. It's the collapse of a vapor bubble, born from the club's sheer speed. As the club decelerates against its target, water pressure plummets behind it. In that instant, the liquid vaporizes, forming a bubble that flashes into existence between club and shell. The bubble's life is measured in microseconds. As surrounding water rushes back in, the bubble collapses, releasing a shockwave that can be as powerful as the initial blow, sometimes even greater. The prey, already reeling from the first strike, now faces a second, invisible assault. Physicists call this phenomenon cavitation. In engineering, it's notorious for pitting ship propellers and destroying turbine blades. In the mantis shrimp, it's weaponized. The collapse sends out a sharp acoustic shock, with frequencies reaching into the megahertz range. There is likely a flash of light too, a microburst akin to sonoluminescence, though the details for mantis shrimp remain unmeasured. Some researchers estimate that, in similar systems, temperatures inside the collapsing bubble can briefly rival those on the surface of the sun. For the mantis shrimp, it is a double strike. First the club, then the bubble, all over in less than 1,000th of a second. No other animal delivers a 1-2 punch with such precision, or with such extreme physics packed into every blow. Before a mantis shrimp ever throws a punch, there is a moment of stillness, an almost meditative pause as it sizes up its target. Antennae probe, mouth parts tap, and the raptorial limb folds tight against the body. This is not hesitation. It is the start of a mechanical ritual that powers one of the fastest strikes in the animal kingdom. Hidden inside the limb is a saddle-shaped structure made of chitin, the same tough material that forms the shrimp's shell. Muscles contract slowly, compressing this saddle like drawing back the string of a bow. But instead of releasing energy through muscle alone, the system uses a tiny latch, an exoskeletal catch that holds the appendage in place as tension builds. The real secret lies in the timing. Muscles can only contract so fast. But by storing energy in the elastic saddle and then releasing it all at once, the mantis shrimp achieves speeds and accelerations muscle could never deliver on its own. It is the biological equivalent of a bow and arrow. Slow, steady loading, followed by an explosive release. When the latch finally gives, the stored energy unleashes in a burst, sending the club or spear rocketing forward at velocities that make water vaporize and shells shatter. Both smashers and spearers use this spring-loaded engine, but with a twist. Smashers have a thicker, more robust saddle, built to store maximum energy for bone-crushing blows. Spearers, in contrast, favor precision and reach. Their saddle still stores elastic energy, but not to the same extreme. That difference explains why smashers target slow, armored prey that will not dart away during the windup, while spearers wait for the perfect moment to ambush passing fish. The mechanics behind these strikes are so efficient that engineers have built robots mimicking the same latch spring principle. But even the fastest machines still lag behind the real thing. In the mantis shrimp, behavior and biomechanics are fused, a living demonstration that sometimes the secret to speed is patience, precision, and a perfectly tuned spring. Each mantis shrimp eye is a world unto itself. Sitting atop stalks that swivel and roll, these eyes scan the environment with a kind of alien precision. Unlike humans, who rely on 3 types of color-sensitive cells, mantis shrimp pack as many as 12 to 16 distinct photoreceptor classes into each eye. Some species carry more than 30 opsin genes, fine-tuning their vision across ultraviolet and visible light, though not every gene means a new color. Many are layered together or switched on for special tasks. The real surprise is how these eyes process information. Each eye is divided into 3 regions, granting trinocular vision from a single eyeball, depth perception, without the need for a partner. With both eyes working independently, the animal achieves what scientists call hexnocular vision, a redundancy that ensures losing an eye doesn't mean losing the ability to hunt or fight. But the story doesn't end with color. 6 polarization channels let mantis shrimp detect patterns of light that are invisible to almost every other animal, including the elusive circular polarization. Parts of their bodies reflect these signals, creating a secret language that only other mantis shrimp can read. Deep inside the stalk, a specialized reniform body acts as a local processor, sorting and refining this visual data before it ever reaches the brain. For the mantis shrimp, seeing is not just believing, it's decoding an ocean of hidden information. Engineers and scientists have spent years trying to match what the mantis shrimp does with easy. The club's microarchitecture, helicoidal layers of chitin and mineral, twisted like plywood, has inspired new generations of impact-resistant materials. These composites, modeled after the shrimp's own Boulligan structure, are now being tested for use in aerospace, body armor, and even sports equipment. The idea is simple: let cracks spiral and dissipate, rather than shoot straight through. In robotics, a team at Harvard built a 1.5-gram robot arm that mimics the shrimp's spring-loaded punch. Despite advanced polymers and careful engineering, the machine still lags behind its biological counterpart. The robot's fastest strike reaches about 26 meters per second in air, but in water, the real animal leaves it behind. Every attempt to copy the club's speed or durability reveals just how far evolution has pushed the limits. The shrimp's vision has also sparked innovation. Polarization cameras, inspired by their eyes, are now being developed to spot cancer cells, detecting subtle patterns in tissue that escape normal imaging. These breakthroughs are not just academic. Dr. Sheila Patek jokes about budgeting for broken lab gear, while Dr. Maya DeVries describes careful handling and thick gloves as basic field safety. Studying mantis shrimp isn't just about marveling at nature. It is about learning, and sometimes about surviving the lesson. In labs around the world, engineers still can't match the mantis shrimp's punch or decode the full spectrum its eyes perceive. Nature solved problems we're only beginning to understand. Problems with real consequences for tomorrow's materials, medicine, and technology. As we search for breakthroughs, the ocean's most outlandish survivor reminds us, evolution's wildest ideas may hold the answers we need next. What do you think we'll discover next?